Hello, my friends. Leo Babauta from Zen Habits here. And as I record this, the elections have just happened in the US. Might be a week or two ago for you as you watch this, but as I record it, it's very fresh, just a couple of days ago. And I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm not here to tell you if you're right or wrong about your views about American politics or politics around the globe. What I am here for is to speak to what is present for us in this moment and how to work with it. So, for a lot of us, we might be feeling a lot of disappointment or confusion, some kind of difficult emotion. Maybe there's fear, anger, can come up, a lot of feeling vulnerable and in danger, a lot of insecurity, just insecurity about the world, um, a lot of disappointment or frustration with other people. So all this stuff can be coming up for us, and I want to talk about how to work with that in this time. I have a few things that I want to share as like how to actually work with what's going on in the world, in your country, in your neighborhood, in your lives. Because this is a really important topic, and I'm probably going to talk about it in the coming months as well. And uh, I think it leaves a lot of us feeling like um, we're on uncertain ground, like not solid ground, and that's a difficult place to be in. So the first thing is just to acknowledge that that's there for us. We can get really fixated on the details or the thoughts about what's happening or about other people. And what I really want to encourage you to do is just acknowledge that there's a feeling in your body. And a lot of times we don't want to have these feelings. And so, because we don't want them, or we don't like them, or we think there's something wrong with them, we can't even acknowledge that they're there. If they're bad and wrong, then maybe we just don't even acknowledge it. And we focus on all the crap out there as opposed to acknowledging there's something going on in here because of what's going on out there. Or maybe instead, what we might tend to do is instead of acknowledging that there's something there, we distract ourselves, comfort ourselves. Distractions of social media or YouTube, Netflix, work, news, distractions or comforts of, eating or drinking or other substances or other ways that we like comfort ourselves that might not always be healthy. So instead of distracting or comforting or focusing on the external situation that's frustrating or hurting us, what I really want to encourage you to do, if you can, if it feels possible for you, is just to acknowledge that there's a feeling going on inside of you. And you might just notice, what does that feeling feel like? We want to drop below the thoughts into the physical sensation in the body. Like right now in my heart, I might feel some like hurt or some tightness or some heat of anger or some fear and shakiness, some vulnerability in my throat. So just notice where these feelings are located, and we want to just acknowledge them and even become present to them, which means noticing how they feel and letting ourselves feel them. That's the first thing. The second thing I would encourage you to do, maybe simultaneously, is what can I do to take care of these feelings? And so if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling vulnerable, scared, confused, frustrated, angry, disappointed, uncertain, groundless, you might just think like, what could I do to take care of this? And you might not know what the answer is to that, but what I would really encourage is a sense of friendliness, a sense of caring for yourself, loving yourself, a warmth and a caring. And so it might just simply be sitting there with it and letting yourself feel it. Maybe even with a sense of friendliness and warmth towards the feelings, as if they were a friend, right? This might all sound weird to you, but yeah, you don't have to do that. You might say, Maybe some deep breathing can really help. If you can summon up a sense of compassion for yourself, that would also help. But there can also be, if those don't make any sense to you, if you're like, what the hell are you talking about, Leo? What you can do is some external actions that might feel like you're taking care of these emotions. For example, take a hot shower or a hot bath. Maybe you drink a hot cup of tea or cocoa. Maybe you get a hug from a friend or get on the phone and talk with someone who might like be willing to listen to how you're feeling. Get on a call with a therapist. Get therapy would be a really good one. Sit in meditation with others. I'm actually thinking of hosting some meditation sessions, and so look out for my newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter on zenhabits.net. But I will announce some meditations that you can do with me, or some guided meditations would be another example of that. Maybe there's other things you can do to take care of yourself. So acknowledge that there's some feelings there and be present to them, notice them, be curious about them, be friendly with them. And then second, take care of those feelings. Third, let's use each other to be there for each other when we're going through something. So everybody is going through something right now, and what I really encourage is to let that bring us together. Again, I mentioned these meditations that we can do together, but can you do other things with your friends and family? Get together with them, just hang out, be there with each other, give each other hugs and emotional support. Find new ways to like be there for each other. Maybe as a community, maybe there's community organizations where you can volunteer or get involved in something that's really important to you. Maybe we're not feeling so reliant or so trusting in the authorities to like take care of our basic needs in our society. And so how can we come together in mutual aid to take care of each other? So that would be another place to look, and that is an exploration that could take weeks and months to like discover like how can we come together to be there for each other and then to like take action together. Um, I want to talk about something a little bit deeper if you're up for it, and that is letting ourselves become present to the thing that's confronting us right now. So something in society is confronting you, and that's okay. To be confronted by things, we might think, oh, I don't want this confronting thing. But actually, well, it's there whether we're confronted by it or not. Whatever we're seeing right now in society, in the world, it's been there all along, but allowed to be hidden as we stay in our comfort zones. But right now, it's front and center for us. We can no longer remain passive and ignorant and in our comfort zones, not wanting to look at that, you know, kind of dark part of humanity that's always been there. When I say dark, what I mean is like there's a shadow side to our humanity. Dark isn't bad. I'm going to do another video on darkness. Dark isn't bad, but it is a part of us. And so now we are seeing it front and center. It's in our face as opposed to something we can ignore. It's come up, it's surfaced itself. And that isn't something that we would necessarily choose, but it is there and it's confronting us. So the opportunity as a personal growth practice, as a practice of spiritual growth as well, is can I look at this thing that's confronting me about humanity that maybe is a part of myself as well? Can I look at it and can I let myself be confronted by it? And can I let that confrontation change me so that I can open to this and show up for it in a new way? So, for example, if we're talking about, um, hatred in the world, can I let myself be confronted by this hatred, not get caught up in it, not let myself grow in hatred, but can I let myself be confronted by this part of our humanity that's been there this entire time? Can I let myself become present to it and let it spur me to transformation, inner growth, spiritual growth, so that I can be willing to be with this, to bring love to hatred, bring compassion, let it touch the deepest part of my compassion, and then use it to change the world, to let some healing begin so that the hatred doesn't have to be this open, festering wound. And what does that mean in terms of action? Well, besides letting yourself just sit and really face what you're seeing right now, it doesn't have to be hatred, it could be racism or misogyny or a feeling of powerlessness or fear of others. Can we let ourselves face that? Breathe, be with it, be confronted by it, and then let it stir up our deepest compassion, our deepest love, our openness, growth, so that we can be with that. And then we can start to come together and heal this wound that's in front of us. I know that might sound a little, new agey for some people, a little bit of woo woo for you, but I believe that this is something we need to speak to and not just ignore, and not let ourselves calcify and harden in the face of what's going on, but actually let it become the place that we start to transform ourselves, and in doing so, transform society. I'm going to leave you with a book that I am reading that is perfect for this time. It's by a Zen teacher called, his name is Norman Fisher. I believe he's one of the greatest Zen teachers alive. He might not be alive for many more years. I hope he is. If the word gets back to him that I said that, I don't think it will, but if it does, Norman, you are a treasure, and I hope you live decades more. But we want to treasure him while he's here. And he wrote a book, I think it came out maybe last year, called The World Could Be Otherwise. Imagination and the Bodhisattva Path. I'm trying to get it on camera. Imagination and the Bodhisattva Path. And this is, he takes a very classic Buddhist teaching about the paramitas, or the six perfections, which are generosity, ethical conduct, patience, joyful effort, meditation, and understanding. And he helps us to reimagine, reconfigure the world we live in. From everyday concerns about relationships, to ethics, to consumption, to our artistic aspirations and broadest human yearnings. He depicts imaginative spiritual practice as a necessary resource for our troubled times. Now, he wrote this well before this current time that we're in. A couple of years ago probably is when he wrote it, but actually this is from 2019, so I'm off by 5 years. So he wrote this in a different time, but not that long ago, and very much relevant to what we're looking at here. This time that we're in can be a place of growth for us all, a transformation, an avenue of transformation. And I think if we could let what is happening that's confronting us, let us get in touch with our deepest love, patience, generosity, joyful effort, meditation, understanding, connection with each other, I believe that we can reimagine what society is. We can reimagine our relationship to each other and ourselves. And so I don't know what's going to come from that, but I'm calling on all of you to give that your deepest contemplation. I love all of you. Please be gentle and loving with yourselves.